Hey everyone, welcome back to Geek Strong. Today's video is a room tour part 2. So we'll take a look at this general area here. A lot of figures, a lot of play sets. Some of them have batteries. Some of them I'll take down, show you a closer look at it. If there's anything in any of these videos, like part 1, anything you want to see a close look at, let me know, leave it in the comments. But yeah, I kind of feel like Willy Wonka. Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
And let's do this! Here we go. Okay, let's start with the top left, vintage collection. Here we have the Clone Wars figures. Love the card back on those. And then more modern Clone Wars figures. Love that Darth Maul. Check that one out. Super cool. Alright, let's stay with the vintage collection and Saga collection. See if it's unpunched. Chances are it's from the Saga collection, which is before vintage collection. So we have Luke Han, George Lucas. Really cool. Move on to Star Wars. So these are the Cantina aliens. Love the ceremony figures. More Cantina, Guido. Again, that's a Saga collection figure. Let's see if I can squeeze all the way down here. And there is a Empire Rebel Trooper. Boschkin IG-88. And those are Saga collection before vintage collection. Snow Trooper, Yoda. Again, these are, you can see that they're a little bit different than the vintage collection, because those are the Saga collection figures. And then we have a Lobot down at the bottom. So let's climb all the way to the top here. And here we have a Luke Skywalker Saga collection. Princess Leia. And Han Solo. Let's go over to the right here and we'll look at these vintage collection and retro collection figures. So here we have the retro Mandalorian figures. Pretty cool. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi retro collection. So over here in the corner, I do have Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Saga collection. Chewbacca, R2-D2 vintage collection. I do have the droids figures here. And I got these from Razov. Razov gifted me these. I did find them in stores, so I gifted my set to Left Coast Graphics. And here we have Boba Fett from the animated holiday special. Let's go over here to vintage collection. Return of the Jedi. And again, if you see a punched one, chances are that's Saga collection. Gamorrean Guide's awesome. It's probably one of my favorites here is the sail barge R2-D2. I don't have a Slave Leia. I had a chance to get her years ago for like $100 online and I thought it was pricey. Who knew? Love those skiff aliens. TIE fighter pilot way in the corner. We have some Ewoks down here. Down at the very bottom is Bib Fortuna. Over here we have the Phantom Menace figures. Vintage collection. And I think the Jar Jar is Saga collection. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, let's go back over here on the left. We have the Ralph McQuarrie, Yoda, and Obi-Wan. Down under here is the Mandalorian figures. Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Mando, Grogu, and Spider. The Emperor exclusive set. I put a royal guard in here, and I had an imperial dignitary, so that looks pretty cool. So here we have Donald Duck as Darth Maul. A couple of vintage necklaces. 3PO and Chewbacca without his bandolier, unfortunately. Okay, let's go over to the top left shelf, and we have SSPs. I love these things. These are from like 1977. It's got a ripcord there, and you just crank it. Let's check it out. Then over here we have a clock shoebox. Take a look at that. Here's a clock shoebox, and it looks like we even have a tag here, $21.50 for these shoes at Gimbals. Look at that, pretty cool. So here's the box in great condition. May the force be with you. 2.5 medium, I think. Look at that. R2 and 3PO. The bottom you have X-Wings, look at that. Pretty cool. And let's open it up, check it out. So inside is just regular cardboard, but I do have the bag. Star Wars by Clark's. You can read that. And look at this. And these are all the shoes you could have got. Wow, look at that. Luke Skywalker. C-3PO, they spell them out. Princess Leia. A Tusken Raider set. R2-D2 and Darth Vader. Look at it. They even made Tusken Raider. That's pretty cool. But look at that Darth Vader head. Wow. Pretty awesome. Emperor. Jeff Gordon race car. Holiday Yoda. These couple of figures came with an action figure. I forget what series it was from. But look at these cards. These cards, I know these are vintage. I don't know what they're from. I can't remember. But I got these when I bought like a bin of miscellaneous Star Wars stuff, and they were in it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. 500th figure. This one's really cool. This is Darth Vader in his meditation chamber. So we have, this is a Return of the Jedi hologram of the Death Star. Micro Machine, this was a mail away. This is C-3PO's head. And you got R2 and Leia. And there's a little figure of C-3PO. And this was a mail away from Action Masters. Do you remember these? I mean, when Star Wars was coming back to the stores, there was so many different Star Wars items, and I think we bought them all. I know I did. So I had all the Action Masters, and I think this is probably the only one I have left, is the mail away. But we have the fan club exclusive Micro Machines Darth Vader and Star Destroyer. There's Ahsoka from the original Clone Wars movie with Jabba's baby. We have General Grievous, and this is a Darth Maul. It's kind of like a Rubik's Cube. This is a Darth Vader speaker, kind of like an intercom for your phone. So you just plug that into your phone and it works. Pretty cool. Give a Show. Do you guys remember this? So here's the Give a Show projector. The box is kind of roached a little bit, but still pretty cool to have it. Yeah, really cool. Look at that. Awesome. So let's open this up, check it out. And you have your projector right here. So the slides are actually right here. And there's quite a few. Look at all these slides. So yeah, want to check it out? So it takes 3 D batteries, which makes this pretty heavy, and then you push that lever up and it turns it on. Who wants to watch a movie? Let's start the show. La la. Gotta change the tempo a little bit, right? Don't want to get a copyright strike. But how cool is this art? And let's move that out. Beep, beep, beep. So there is film disc 1. Is that right? Yeah. Get that capsule. Beep, beep, beep. How cool is this, huh? Love this comic book look. And there's the Jawas taking R2 away. Okay, let's move over to here. So I do have a bobblehead Darth Vader there. This is a 1980 Star Destroyer. And we have Bosch. I do have a rocket fire and Boba Fett in there. This was the mail away. Pretty cool. Holographic Emperor I have there. But I made this custom Darth Vader using a Lobot head. I did make the cape myself also. And this thing lights up. I love this. This was one of my favorite playsets as a kid. These are the Burger King glasses. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi back there. I don't have the original A New Hope. I'm still looking for those. This is the Yoda Swamp Monster, and that came with an X-Wing set. Okay, let's move over to this top shelf. Vintage Rancor. We have a couple of race cars here. I'll show you that set. Check this out. This is the Power Passes Star Wars Duel at Death Star Racing set. Really cool. I love all the graphics in it. But it doesn't work the greatest, but it's still a cool piece. There's a Darth Maul back there from, I think it's like Galaxy Adventures. Micro Machine Rancor. And look at this vintage 1977 R2-D2 radio. Only plays AM, but pretty cool. Craft Masters. Do you guys remember these? Did you ever buy one of these and paint it? So I think you used to get these at like Kmart's and something. I had the Yoda, but this isn't mine. I actually bought that in a store. Look at his face. Pretty cool. There's another Yoda there. There's a Yoda puppet from 1980. Vintage 1977-78 R2-D2 and 3PO alarm clock. A couple of figures here. Look at that little Yoda. That's kind of cool. I'm not sure what that's from, but I love it. A couple of loose figures here. Got these from Left Coast Graphics. Thank you, Left Coast. And here is the animated R2-D2 and 3PO. Those are pretty cool, vintage. And I think the figures, Chewbacca and Stormtrooper, believe those are from Disney. Here is an R2 unit, R2-KT, was created by the 501st Legion for a little girl named Katie. So you can read that there. Yeah, I love this R2 unit. And there she is, R2-KT. Here's a couple of vintage models. Let's see here. This is actually pretty cool. I love this one. Look at that. Do you remember these? It's not complete, obviously, but and this glows in the dark. The logo's in the back and right behind the X-Wing. Glows in the dark. And here is a vintage 1977 R2-D2 model. And you can so here is the model. Look at that. How cool is that? And it looks like it is complete. Comes with the instructions. All these pieces here. I don't think I have the heart to build it. It would be kind of cool, but I like it like this. This brings back memories like this. I mean, maybe I could find one that's already built and purchase that and put it next to it. But yeah, so what would you do? Would you build it or would you leave it like this? is check out my vintage figures. So these cases I made probably 25 plus years ago. And the lighting you can change according to whatever you want. So if you want to match the background, if you want red, you could do blue. So that's, I like that. It's pretty cool. But for this video, we'll leave it this way so we can see them, figures. So I had all these figures back in the day, and somehow they must have got thrown away or at a yard sale. But I had to rebuy them back in the early 90s. Check out those Left Coast Graphics pins. Doesn't that look cool in there? So speaking of Left Coast, check out this commercial. Left Coast Graphics, enamel pins, patches, stickers, posters. Collect them all before they're all gone. Then we come over here to Empire. So I had all these figures as a kid, the Empire and the original Star Wars. But when it came to Return of the Jedi, I think I was a little bit older. I didn't really collect Return of the Jedi. But back in '92, I used to go to flea markets and toy conventions. So I repurchased all these figures. Those, the band members, are actually my originals. I did get a yak face. I paid like $85 for one, but this is a Stan Solos, because I actually traded my original yak face for a Marvel World playset, and I'll show you that in another video. But you know, you collect what you collect. I had my original one for over 20 years, so I was fine to get rid of him, because yak face is, you know, he is a holy grail for a lot of people, and do I regret trading them? Possibly, but my Marvel World playset is incredible. These droid figures, R2, 3PO, I painted those to look like the vintage ones. Also that Boba Fett I painted. But these are all original figures here. R2 was my last figure. Pop-up lightsaber was my very last figure I purchased to complete my set of figures. So I have them all, except for Yak Face is the only reproduction one, or custom figure. But I'm fine with that. He represents pretty good up there. Let's move over to my custom figures that I made. So these are all figures that I painted and swap heads. And here is the holiday special figures. Chewbacca and his family. The Uze Snow Trooper. This Dr. Evazan. I used a Ugnaught head in a Han Solo body. 3PO. There's just a piece of wire that I put in his head, drilled a little hole in a vintage figure. It was a beat up figure, and created that one with a pop out eyeball. Yeah, really cool. I love this. And this is my original Jabba the Hutt from when I was a kid. So I did still have a few of the figures. The band members were mine, and Jabba, but everyone else I repurchased. This Palatoy Death Star, I made this and used Micro Machine figures to fit inside there. It was pretty cool. So I used that. I made that from just images online, and then I printed them out, sized them up, and made that playset. Check out on top of my TV. So this is my TV stand, and this is actually where I do live streams, right here. I just moved this X-Wing, and I put a seat here, and this is how I do all my live streams, so we can see my toy room. But this is the Empire Strikes Back version, the gray version of the X-Wing. We have a Darth Vader telephone. This thing's pretty cool. And his head actually moves too. I'm not sure if it's going to move right now, but you can see it trying to. Maybe it's the battery's weak. But yeah. And then you can just answer the phone or talk on the phone right here. Let's get that up. Just like that. And then we have the vintage X-Wing. Over here is one of my favorite sets, is the Droid Factory. Check that out. Awesome. That R2 was real beat up when I bought this years ago, and I decided to replace the sticker and paint the head. Probably not the best idea, but I did it. I'm never gonna sell it anyways, but it was pretty beat. I don't even think there was any chrome left on the head, but yeah, love it. Move on to here. Underneath my TV stand is the cantina with all the aliens. Now this is the pop-up cantina set, and this bar is actually it's like a build-a-bar, so you would buy a figure and it would come with a piece of the bar. Pretty cool. And we have the Sears cantina, but this is the reproduction one, a custom one. One of my buddies that I know, he sells on eBay. He used to sell these and he gifted me that one, and it's just exactly like the original. I have it all set up here. I think some of these figures fit pretty well with this scene. This is my original dewback, so this was mine as a kid, so I still have that one, as well as the land speeder. That was mine as a kid. You can see the windshield is really bad, really needs a replacement, but it was mine. I love it. Down here we have the mini console games. We have Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Nintendo. Over here I have my Hasbro wrestling figures with the wrestling ring. Pretty cool. And usually right in the corner I have all these figures in there, but for this video I'll take them out and show you. So these are the superstars, Mankind, and so on. Really cool. I love all these figures. I'm missing a few, but I'm gonna try to collect most of them because I like them. Over here is a United States Postal stamp set. So these were all the stamps back in the day. May 25th, 2007. And that's pretty cool. I love that image of Chewbacca. And here we have Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon, which is basically the same mold as the original. Here's the pieces here, so it is complete. We have a Lando and Neenum, not Nine Num, it's Neenum. And this is a training ball. This isn't supposed to go on it, but I actually purchased this on eBay just so I could make it more complete like the original. And there's a chessboard, the chess set, and this came with a Chewbacca figure, so it actually fits on perfectly just like that. It does have lights and sound, so listen to this. Move over here to the AT-AT set. So this is I think the 95 version of the AT-AT, around that time. And here is some cool sounds.
All troops will debark for ground assault. Distance to power generators 17.28. Target maximum firepower.
Cockpit. Pretty cool. Couple figures inside. Here's the vintage AT-AT, and this really sized up pretty awesome with this, doesn't it? I mean, it's not the exact mold. The head's definitely different. But yeah, pretty cool. And this has a little lever inside. You can move the head around, and there's a button that you can press to make it work. Let's see here. Unfortunately, it's missing the cannons right there, but and there is inside the cockpit. Micro Machine Snow Speeder. Actually sizes up really good with that. And then the Micro Collection from the 80s. So I do have more of the figures, but I can't display them all because that's what happens. They just fall over and stuff, and I don't want to lose any. But I do have some other sets I'll show you on another video. Here's my Star Wars Laserdisc. So I have a couple of different versions. So there's Star Wars, and there's a few different Empire ones. Slightly different. Widescreen version. And then Return of the Jedi. Still in the wrapper too. Look at that. What was that? $45 for a Laserdisc back in the day. Star Wars little mix and match storybook. Pretty cool. Bunch of stickers on it still. Yeah, so you would just flip the pages and change the story. Kind of cool. I like that. Over here, almost done, we have a vintage Star Wars lightsaber from 1977. Now, I had this lightsaber as a kid. This isn't mine, but this lights up and it's inflatable. Pretty cool. There's a Star Wars Death Star space station, complete in the box. Star Team. I love these figures. So here is Zem 21, Knights of Darkness, and Zeroid. He actually lights up. I'll put some batteries in and show you. But this guy has his weapon, and his weapon's really hard to find. This guy's pretty beat up, but just to have him is pretty cool. We have a Slave Leia, Geek Strong mug, Left Coast Graphics pin. Right up here we have, this is a vintage Star Wars carrying case. And we have the retro Mandalorian figures, Empire Strikes Back, TIE Fighter, Empire Strikes Back original TIE Fighter. This is a Star Wars pin. This is a holiday one. It's like a vampire droid. My daughter bought me that. Left Coast Graphics pins. So I did put batteries in this TIE Fighter, so let's listen to it. Hours of fun. Hours of fun. And then you have your... So that's it. Room tour video 2 complete. Oh yeah, this guy. Almost forgot about him. So this is my alien facehugger model that I built back in the 90s, I believe it was. So you can paint him up. And but I never painted him. I left him this color. I think it looks fine. And I just have him sit on top of my projector screen. But I think he looks pretty cool. Normally he's not dangling like this. It's just for this video. But also, if you want to see more of these vintage figures, I do have videos on each one of those cabinets where I take them out and I put them on that little spinny thing, so you can see those figures up close. But yeah, anything you want to see more of that I've already shown, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make another video on that. But if not, then we're going to move on to room tour. Where are you going? Go over this way. Room tour. Video number 3, we'll work on this big shelf here. There's a ton of stuff in there, and I'll try to go through it as much. I don't think there's any batteries in that, so it shouldn't take as long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. And remember, we are all Geek Strong. Take care, everyone. Ooh, I almost forgot. This Jawa Sandcrawler takes batteries. We'll have to take a look at that on room tour number 3. Coming soon.